Hey everyone, my name is Garrett Brown, and in this video we're gonna go over how to use the toolbar of Kami within Kami to help differentiate our instruction for our students, and just how to get more familiar with how to use the features embedded within this great program. In my other video, we'll talk about how to upload and create our own documents for students, and then how to disperse those into Google Classroom. So let's start right here, and we'll start at the select text at the top of our toolbar. Select text has three different options. We can select the text, hand tool, and we can select annotations. Select text, just like normal, regular cursor. Hand tool lets you drag the PDF around, lets you manipulate it a little more. And select annotations, I'll address a little bit when we start talking about annotations. Dictionary is a great tool for students with limited language proficiency, limited vocabulary. It's a great way for them to get a better understanding of words they might not know. For example, in this ReadWorks example right here, this word is ology. And some students might not understand what's ology. So they can click on it and say, oh, it's a subject of study, a branch of knowledge. And maybe then they can start connecting, oh, like biology and geology. Okay. Extinct, you can also say, oh, what does it mean? Oh, have no living members of a family or larger group. So it's a great way to help students expand their vocabulary, as well as support students without that vocabulary already. My favorite feature of Kami is the text-to-speech button. I think that it's great. It has tons of good uses. It's a great way to support students who struggle with reading, or even struggle with just understanding a few words. It allows us to, create a space where students might not feel so, they don't feel like they're being singled out by being read to by an adult, because they can get read to by a program here. Now, once again, it's a computerized voice, and I believe they're working on different voices, but let's go over just a regular how we can use it. So I can just highlight some text, and it will start reading it for me.
Gone. How do you know when a species has become extinct?
And you can have it read more or less. There was a slight delay because I'm playing it from a speaker, but when you play it from a computer, there is no delay. What's great is also you can change it to read it in a different accent or dialect. So if I click this one right here, I can scroll down, and it will help students maybe listen to the words in an accent that's more comfortable for them. It doesn't translate it, and I hope one day they develop it where it will translate it automatically. But right now it doesn't translate yet, it just reads it in a different accent. So let's listen to how that sounds.
This is in the area scientists should monitor it closely year after year. Information about population size and distribution helps scientists plan conservation efforts and...
So once again, I'm sorry about the delay. But you can hear that the difference between the different languages it's reading them in. And it's really helpful. Down here, you can change the language with all these different, same kind of Google Speech voices. You can change the speed to slow down or speed up, depending on who's your target audience. Which student are you targeting? If it's a student who needs things slowed down for them, you can slow it down. If it's a student who needs it to be read a little faster, they can get it read a little faster. It's a great tool where students can actually be in charge of their own differentiating of their instruction. They can pick and choose what's best for them, which is awesome. The markup features. We have text highlighter, box highlighter, strike through, underline, and then we have some colors here. And this color palette allows us to pick more colors. Whatever box you click in up here, if you click another color, it will replace that box. So if I click this white one, oh, I don't want that. I want pink instead. Oh, I have two pinks. Let's click up here and let's get this light blue. And sometimes I might mess up, and I know I've done this a million times, and I'll have 3 different blues on there. It's a really easy fix. Just hit save. You can also reset the default. Oh, maybe that is the default now. So it's really interesting. Text highlighter, just like normal. Oops, too much. You can just highlight some text. That's a really important sentence. One thing I do too is say, hey, if I'm working with my students in groups, have them each pick a color, maybe make a text box in the top telling me, or on the bottom, telling me what colors they are. And they each have to find a different piece of evidence, especially for longer articles. This one's kind of short. Box highlighter lets you just create a box of highlighter. It's a great tool you can use. You can manipulate it. You can make it bigger. You can make it smaller. If I want to get rid of it, I just click and I delete. Now look, every time you click, it makes a little box. And I get lots of little boxes add up real fast. If I hit my select annotations, I can select them and I can delete them. Now it won't delete the ones that are attached to text. Those you have to actually click on and delete. So click on it, and if you go too fast, it might stop you. But there we go. The last tip, the strike through and underline, which work very similarly to text highlight. So it's a really good feature. Just like to delete it, you can click on it. You don't even have to have your pointer selected. If you have markup selected, you can still click on it. Comments are another great tool. Students can use these to work collaboratively on projects. They can even create their own PDF and put it here so they can comment on each other's. For example, if they're working on this and they're saying, maybe you can even put a comment and say, hey, what are some other examples of endangered species? And you can kind of prompt them to respond to you in a comment. There's voice comments. So for students who struggle with writing or struggle with reading, you can leave voice comments, or they can leave voice comments to better access the curriculum. And I'll give you a quick example right now of what that is. By showing you it, it shows you it's reading it. It's great. I can change the color of whatever dot I want. So once again, if students are working in those groups, I can hit stop whenever, and I'll play it for you just real fast. What that is, by showing you it shows you it's reading it. It's great. I can change the color, whatever. So that's a great way to tailor your instruction to better suits your students' needs. There's also video comments, and I'm going to show you down here. I made a video comment. One of my favorite things about Cami is the video comments. It's such a great way to tailor your instruction to meet individual students' needs. Students who have struggle writing, hard time getting their ideas to pen and paper, can use video comments to, one, organize their own thoughts, two, share their thoughts with other people, and three, to really kind of, instead of getting bogged down by the semantics of writing, they can be able to express themselves. If they're an English language learner, a student with disability, it's a great way to help reach those marginalized groups. So that was a really interesting point by Garrett Brown right there. He is a excellent video comment he made. There's also screen capture. Just, obviously just does what it says, captures the screen. We can move on to text box. I made a text box down here to show you one way you could use it, creating sentence stems. Whereas right here, there's not a lot of space for students to answer these questions. So if I just create a text box, it's an easy way for them to answer it and know how to answer it. There's an equation, and to do a text box, you just double click and start typing. I know yellow is kind of hard to read. Let's change it to green. They can change colors. Same thing you can do anywhere. You can click anywhere on the page and just start a text box. It's great. Equation editors for math teachers like myself are great. You can insert these symbols. The first thing you have to do is insert a text box, and then you can just start inserting symbols. So if you're working for on any kind of project like that, it's great. If you just want to say, okay, everyone, we're going to do 3 divided by 2 equals what? And you can have the students fill that out and work on it. And you can even do this, like, oh, what does it equal? So lots of cool tools. If I don't like that, I just delete it. If I want to fill it in to make it stand out, like, hey, this problem is important, look at it, I can change the text font, I can move it, I can change the size right here. So it is an overall great tool to use. And you don't have to have this open to edit it either. Drawings are another way. Right here I can change the thickness of the stroke, the color of it. I can make it this big. Let's do that. I can do some shapes. I can do some squares. I can click on the square, make little squares. It can tell me if I want it to fill in or not. Let's say I do want it to fill in. Right there, it fills in for me. And I can choose to fill again or not. It doesn't let me, the color, whatever you pick, it doesn't have a different outline. Oh, yeah. So it can let you pick and let you do the outline, circles, all that stuff. So if you're working on circumference or area, you can use these tools. And oh, I made a lot of stuff on here. And my kind of blocking my field of view, I can get rid of it all by just deleting everything here. It will delete your text box, so make sure that if you want everything deleted, delete that. Otherwise, you can use your eraser tool, oops, wrong one, to simply just erase things you don't want. Now see, my text box was kind of big, so it's going to delete that, and I might have to write that again. So it is a little touchy. There's also when you just, oh, oops, I went too far ahead real fast. Let's erase this. Erase drawing and shapes, erase all annotations. Oh, I forgot about that feature. Let's go back. I can just erase my drawings and shapes, and it won't erase my text box, which is really cool. Images, I can put a prompt, hey, let's talk about find another endangered species and put it in there. So let's type polar, oh, P-O-L-A-R, bear. And I can put a nice image in there. And it's great if you're working with students who may have limited vocabulary and you want to support them with understanding different words. You can put in pictures for them to say, hey, this is a picture of, they might not know what coral reefs are. And I know there's a picture here, but if it didn't have one, you could do that. Or they might not know what a seahorse is or a pipefish. So you can put in pictures to say, hey, this is a seahorse. This is a pipefish. Great way to help support those marginalized students. You can also insert one from your computer or your Google Drive. Signature is an interesting way we can just add a signature to it. And that's not really for your students, that's more for you. And that can be erased really easily. All right, that's it for this video. In our next video, we'll talk about how to make our own Canvas documents. Feel free to explore the document below. It might have you sign in with Google. It's this exact document, it's live. So go ahead and play around with it, add your own comments, add your own markups, make it your own. It's a really cool project, so go ahead and try to mess around with it. All right, have a good one.